All right, let's go over the let's
Told me
go over
about
the
an hour ago.
requirements real quick. Let's go over the requirements real quick. I'll put it on the screen for the people. These requirements are coming from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's Wikipedia because I couldn't find it on the site.
It's very problematic.
It says artists become eligible for induction 25 years after the release of their first record. Which hold on. Let me mind you, they have changed that recently. It used to be their first major label release. They've changed that.
Now, I mean, so Mike, I mean, so since we're going back to that, I mean, does the projects that you and I dropped when we MC make
Right.
us like
Right. So if I get signed today, I'm eligible, I
I
guess
got
at
Mike,
'03 or something, whatever.
I got a whole album on iTunes. That make me eligible?
Some bullshit.
Right.
I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is some bullshit. All
What are
right.
we doing?
So let me finish reading this. All right. Artists have become eligible for induction 25 years after the release of their first record. Criteria include the influence and significance of the artist, contributions to the development and perpetuation of rock and roll. All right. Listen. I was talking to my guy Kel. Shout out to Kel out there in Cleveland. He's really involved with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just involved in music, period. And so I asked him, I was like, I didn't think that Eminem hit that 25-year eligibility because I think we all know that, the Slim Shady LP came out in 1999. That's when he made his impact and all that. And I was like, have they ever done this before? And he brought up Guns N' Roses, but no, Guns N' Roses actually got in 2012, and they dropped Appetite for Destruction in 1987 on Geffen Records. So that didn't happen with them. This is the first time they've ever done this, and I asked him straight up. I was like, did they count Infinite? And for the people who don't know, and I wouldn't fault you for not knowing, Eminem dropped an independent album named Infinite in 1996 that sold nothing, that made no impact in hip hop or in his career either. He didn't have a deal. And so the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is counting that towards his eligibility. So, all right, the problematic thing here is I understand why they changed those requirements because
Do you?
I understand this because we talk about this all the time. We don't even know what Kendrick Lamar's first, second, and third album is. When you start talking about Overly Dedicated, Section 80, because now they're saying Section 80 is an album, right? They used to say it was a mixtape, blah, blah, blah. If you
I just
want,
got tired of fighting.
yeah, if you want to apply that to people like Kendrick who actually made a mark with Section 80, fine. But you can't apply that to Eminem for Infinite. Infinite didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. He doesn't perform any of those songs. Most people who know who Eminem is, if you mention Infinite, they'll be like, what? They ain't never heard none of these songs.
Right. They're more familiar. The heads are more familiar with the bad meets evil.
They sat there and used criteria that was going to actually be fair for others to basically propel him unfairly.
More or less.